A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In the heart of Dhaka, a tragic event unfolded on August 5th last year that would change the course of Bangladesh's history. Abdur Rahman Tarif was on the phone with his sister, Meherunnesa, when the call was abruptly cut off. An ominous silence filled the air, prompting Tarif to rush home through the chaos of gunfire between security forces and protesters. Upon his arrival, he found his parents desperately tending to Meherunnesa, who had been struck by a stray bullet while standing by her window. Tragically, the 23-year-old was declared dead upon arrival at the hospital. This day marked not only the loss of a beloved sister, but also the beginning of a significant political upheaval in Bangladesh, as it coincided with the ousting of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina after a massive student-led uprising that ended her 15-year rule. The uprising was a moment of joy for many Bangladeshis, who celebrated the end of Hasina's controversial regime. In the aftermath, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus assumed leadership of an interim government, promising to restore order and implement necessary reforms for future elections. However, 1 year later, the nation continues to grapple with the violence that marred this transition. Hasina, now in exile in India, faces trial for crimes against humanity, yet the dreams of a more democratic and tolerant Bangladesh remain unfulfilled. Meenakshi Ganguly, Deputy Asia Director at Human Rights Watch, expressed the sentiments of many, stating, "The hope of the thousands who braved lethal violence a year ago when they opposed Sheikh Hasina's abusive rule to build a rights-respecting democracy remains unfulfilled." The anti-government movement has come at a heavy price, with hundreds of lives lost, primarily among students, during the violent protests. Demonstrators took to the streets, torching police stations and government buildings, driven by anger and a desire for change. Like many others, Tarif and Meherunnesa participated in the uprising, fueled by the loss of a cousin who was killed by security forces. "We could not stay home and wanted Sheikh Hasina to go," said the 20-year-old Tarif, who now finds himself disillusioned with the current state of affairs. "We wanted a country without any discrimination and injustice." In the wake of the uprising, Yunus's administration established 11 reform commissions, including a national consensus commission aimed at collaborating with major political parties to shape the future of governance and electoral processes. However, political parties have struggled to reach a consensus on a timetable for elections, leading to continued unrest. Political violence has surged, with attacks on rival parties and groups becoming commonplace, while religious hardliners have increasingly targeted women's rights and vulnerable minorities. Despite some reports indicating a decline in the fear and repression that characterized Hasina's rule, rights groups have raised concerns about the new government's use of arbitrary detention against perceived political opponents, particularly Hasina's supporters, many of whom have been forced into hiding. The Awami League Party, now banned, claims that over 24 of its supporters have died in custody over the past year. Human Rights Watch criticized the interim government for not adequately addressing human rights issues, stating that the administration appears to be more focused on targeting Hasina's supporters than on protecting the rights of all Bangladeshis. The political landscape remains fraught with uncertainty as Yunus faces opposition from the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, led by former Prime Minister Khalida Zia, which demands elections to be held either in December or February of the following year. Yunus has countered that elections could occur in April, further complicating the situation. The interim government has also allowed Islamist groups, previously suppressed under Hasina's regime, to gain traction, leading to the emergence of a new political party formed by student leaders who spearheaded the uprising. This new party is demanding significant constitutional reforms and has vowed not to participate in elections without substantial changes. As hardline Islamists have either fled prison or been released, the Jamaat-e-Islami Party, which has a controversial history, is now seeking a role in governance. Their rise poses a potential threat to the political landscape of Bangladesh, as analysts warn that radicalization could further fragment the nation. Political analyst Nazmul Ahsan Kalamullah remarked, "Any rise of Islamists demonstrates a future Bangladesh where radicalization could take shape, with disciplined Islamist forces acting as a catalyst against liberal and moderate forces." The populace remains frustrated, as many feel that the aspirations that fueled the uprising have not been realized. Mosharraf Hossain, Meherunnesa's father, articulated the deep-rooted frustrations that extend beyond a mere change in government, stating, "We want a new Bangladesh." It's been 54 years since independence, yet freedom was not achieved. Tarif echoed his father's sentiments, expressing dissatisfaction with the current state of the country. "I want to see a new Bangladesh as a place where I feel secure, where law enforcement agencies perform their duties properly, and no government resorts to enforced disappearances or killings like before. I want to have the right to speak freely." As Bangladesh marks 1 year since the upheaval, the nation stands at a crossroads, grappling with the complexities of political change and the ongoing struggle for a more democratic and just society. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.